Good day, Nigerians. This is Headline Reviews on Afro Connect TV. I am Adewale Olashukwan. This is a program where we go through select headlines as they appear on our national dailies. Of course, I'm not doing this alone. I am here with my colleagues. Good morning, Chinatu.
Good day, Wale. I'm so happy to be here. I mean, it's always a pleasure.
It's 28th day in the month of March. And tomorrow is Good Friday. I cannot wait to get my invitation from you, Godwin. How are you doing?
I'm very fine, Wale. Good morning.
Yeah.
But Wale, I just want to point out you only get invitation on Sunday.
Oh,
which is
really?
Yeah, we celebrate on Christians celebrate on Sunday.
Okay. So what happens on Friday?
Friday is the remembrance of the crucifixion.
So
Saturday is the burial remembrance.
No item 7 on
You'd
Friday.
like all one day.
You have to start reflecting on your life on Friday.
Fridays for reflection. And well, we'll come back to that later. This morning, we're starting off with the Punch newspaper. The news: rescued Kaduna school children reunite with families today. The 137 Kaduna school children rescued from terrorists will today, Thursday, be reunited with their families. The state government announced on Sunday that the students were rescued in Zamfara state. They were returned and received in Kaduna on Monday by Governor Uba Sani. The General Officer commanding 1 Division, Major General Mayuraso Saraso, who presented the school children to the governor, said 6 of them were hospitalized at the Army Medical Facility. He also added that the teacher abducted with the school children died in captivity. On Wednesday, the secretary to the state government of Kaduna State, Dr. Abdul Kader Mayere, announced that the students would be formally reunited with their parents today. So we've talked about the release of these school children that were abducted from Kaduna. And as we can see from the report here, they were taken from Kaduna and they were rescued in Zamfara, another state. So we talked about the commuting of these children from where they were abducted to where they've been rescued. What happened all through those places? Were there no checkpoints? Were there, I mean, that's another conversation for another day. But now we're talking about the children being back. Their family have to have access to them. They need to reunite with their family. And according to what we know already, they're receiving a lot of medical support, a lot of psychological support as well, to be able to make sure that the ordeals that they've gone through, they have all the necessary medical, psychosocial support that they need to be able to rehabilitate them back into the society. So I think it's a step in the right direction. But we must also recognize that there was a teacher that died while they were in captivity.
Well, may the soul of the teacher rest in peace.
Exactly.
What also, we are happy about this report right now that even the Nigerian army and also the governor of Kaduna State, they are receiving these children and they are giving them back to, they're reuniting them back to their family. But then again, looking at it also critically from another perspective, I begin to ask questions like, once these children are reunited back to their family, what happens next? Exactly. Is there like a post programs to ensure that these children also are not just reunited back to their family? Do they have also other things in place that they can use to also boost the students' morale or something? I should think at this point in time that the Kaduna State government should do more in terms of not just reintegrating them with their family, uniting them with their family, but let there be a social psychological support for these children, so as to also their reintegration can be faster into the society, and they won't want to even have the thought that they were at one point in their lives were kidnapped at what point, because that trauma can be very disturbing.
It can be.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Godwin. Trauma is not something to joke with. And I think at this juncture, the government and every agency involved needs to take into cognizance that these children need to be properly rehabilitated and, you know, gotten back into the society to function as usual. But it's so sad that the teacher is late and our heart goes out to the family.
Yeah, exactly, because it shouldn't end there. When they are home. What comes after that? They need to be able to get all the support that they need. We cannot re-emphasize this enough, because we've seen many instances where these children are left to themselves. And what happens afterwards? Do they go back to school? Is their school safe for them? what are the things they do in their society, what exactly are the parents, the support the parents are getting. Because it's not only the children that went through this ordeal. A lot of parents might decide that their children will not go to school any longer. How do you look at that and make sure that the support, the orientation is made in the right direction for the
Not
parents
just
as
the
well?
parents, those of us Nigerians too,
Like,
we went through that trauma too. So
exactly.
we need reorientation
Yeah,
also from the
exactly,
government.
exactly.
All right.
All right, so now we move to the Vanguard, where the 17 military personnel killed in Okwama in Delta State on March 14 are now buried at the National Military Cemetery in Abuja. The burial took place yesterday at about 6 p.m. and the burial was attended by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Chief of Defense Staff CDS, General Christopher Musa, Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja, Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, and Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, Deputy Senate President Jibrin Barau, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, where he led members of both upper and lower chambers to honor the slain military personnel. Also, Governor Sharif of Delta State, Doye of Bayelsa, Usman of Kogi, Ubasani of Kaduna, Hope Uzodinma of Imo, and Abba Yusuf of Kano were also there to attend the burial. It's so sad right now that the whole nation is being thrown into mourning, and the 17 personnel, including the commanding officer of 181 Amphibious Battalion, 2 majors, 1 captain, and 12 personnel of the battalion were buried. It is very sad. At this point, I'm not sure anyone is really smiling in the country, and which is why the president of the federation had to even pause his birthday celebration. But what does this call for? It calls to say that we need proper investigations to be carried out. We need to ensure that justice is served. These are people who, I like to say died in line of duty. People should not die when exercising their duty. I know the soldiers, they're already trained to give their life away, but
Yeah.
not in this manner. Honestly, not in this manner.
Exactly, and I think this is a point where we all look back and reflect what we are doing in the society. How these are people, just like you mentioned, that they've given their life to the safety of our country. They're protecting the territorial integrity, making sure that peace prevailed in the country. And tragically, they've lost their lives, and I'm happy that they've been buried with the highest honor available for them. And also we look at the numbers of dignitaries, looking at the dignitaries that were also present at the burial. It shows that these people were dignified even while in their deaths. We had the president, we had the Senate, we had representatives from the Senate, different governors were there, Delta governor as well was present at the burial. So looking at that, we cannot also deny that this calls for a lot of attention to be taken into our security architecture. We've emphasized that over and over again at this table, that we need to make sure our security apparatus is strengthened, that we do not lose life meaninglessly like this, because this is a meaningless loss of lives. We have 17 families thrown into mourning, thrown into chaos, and we're wondering how are they going to pick up. But the president has also said that he's going to give scholarship to their families, going to give houses to them. All these are going to cater for them, for the families that they've left behind. But I think the government shouldn't just stop there. We should also make sure that their wives and their family, their mothers, if they still have parents alive, all the support that they have to get must be provided, so as to make sure that that void that has been left open is at least filled by people that are emotionally attached to them.
Wally, our heart again goes out to all the soldiers that lost their lives in this, and their families. The president have said a lot. Nigerians have said a lot to pour out their hearts to this family, and from all of us here in this table, I think our heart also goes out to this family. So we can't say anything. There's nothing to say to support what is wrong. What is wrong is wrong. If this kind of, to avoid such a reoccurrence in the future, I think that the communities of this what they call it, community clashes and of this magnitude should not lead to people dying. At least even at all clashes were called,
Would
they thought that the
occur,
things
exactly.
clash, but then I think that there should be more of an arbitral conversations, more of an ADR. You understand? Conflict let everybody return back to the table, drawing table, and look for better ways, because Nigeria as it stands right now, it's everybody's head is full. You understand? If what I like it or not, the economy stress, this dollar stress already is putting everybody on their toes, and people already thinking out of the
inflation.
box. The inflation here and there. So throwing this family again into this, as I'm talking right now, my heart bleeds for this
It
family,
seems
because you've
beyond
just lost
bearable.
breadwinners
Yeah.
in the family.
Yeah.
These are they're not just competent soldiers, but they are also family members, they are brothers, they are friends in society. I think that going forward, Nigerians are listening to us right now. Please, let's always come back to the drawing board. Let's come back to the table and look for ways to resolve issues amicably, other than resolving to violence and taking of lives.
Exactly. And before we wrap up on the conversation now, I think with the government, the president has also given a directive that the perpetrators of this action must be brought to book, and we should not just bury them and end with providing support to their family. We should make sure that the people are punished in the right manner, that they should be punished according to the law. And also they mentioned that the guns that they apprehended from the soldiers are still stolen from the soldiers, are still with people that they don't know, so they're calling on the people to return it back. I don't know how
I don't know how is that
how
feasible.
feasible that is, but I believe that investigation should continue to go just like the president has directed. These perpetrators must be brought to book. The weapons that are taken stolen from them must be recovered, and we should make sure that this does not repeat itself.
Well, Wale, I can't agree less with
Exactly.
you. But let's move on to this day newspaper, where President Bola Tinubu yesterday took very definite steps aimed at reviving the economy with the establishment of a comprehensive economic coordination and planning system for the country. A statement issued by presidential spokesperson Anjuri Ngelale, and three key economic committees were constituted, with the president heading a 31-man presidential economic coordination council, and the Minister of Finance and coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, is chairing a 19-man economy management team emergency task force and a 14-man economy management team. President Bola Tinubu has approved the constitution of the committees in a strategic move to booster the country's economy governance framework and ensure robust and coordinated economy planning and implementation. So, Wale, what has happened is that the president, as at yesterday, in trying to make the Nigerian economy, revive the Nigerian economy to be more active and more proficient, the president has come up with a committee, which is like a 17-man committee, but it's right now, 19-man committee, I beg your pardon, but it's right now it's going to be headed by the president himself. Is going to, prior to this time, we've had situations where the vice president has always championed the cause of economic forum and 4 years in the country. But right now, we're seeing the president championing this cause. Of course, the office of the vice president is still going to do a lot when it comes to economic reformation. But the president right now is putting up committee alongside the coordinating minister of the economy, Mr. Wale Edu, and they're trying to see how they can revive the Nigerian economy like a child that needs an urgent surgery. The Nigerian economy right now needs an urgent surgery, and the president is trying as much as he can to ensure that this surgery is being given to this child, this Nigerian economy, which I refer to as a child. And the Nigerian economy must come back to its feet the soonest and as soon as possible. So the president is working round the clock at this point. So when it comes to economic matters and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I must really say at this point that his economic policies across the country has been top-notch. He has gone out, he has shown exemplary leadership when it has to do with economic policies. The CBN has been on its toes for last couple of days in order to revive the Nigerian economy. What we're thinking that the CBN was doing all within its powers to revive the economy, we're seeing the president taking another path again to put in modalities and structures to ensure that we have a system that comes alive almost immediately. I must give kudos to President Bola Tinubu at this point in time. Well,
Exactly, and I think, just like you said, we must appreciate him for who he is. And if anybody is familiar with the president, we've been told that it's someone who is very firm in his decision making. And I think we've seen that even from the first day he came into office, that he said subsidy is gone at the inauguration at the Eagle Square. He mentioned that subsidy is gone, and he
That was heartbroken.
A lot of Nigerians were shocked. They
It
were
was
expecting
heartbroken.
that we would get through 3 days, 2 months, whatever days we're going to get before the announcement was made. But he made the announcement at the Eagle Square on
broke our
that same
hearts.
day. Well, many Nigerians would agree with you in that regard. So, for one thing, we can say the president is someone who stands by his decision, is ready to, just like he called them, these are baby steps of pains, to use his words, that no matter what, we're going to go through a level of a form of pain over the years. But what exactly do we achieve at the end of the day? This different committee, 3 committees has been created, a 31-man committee, a 19-man committee, 14-man committee, one headed by the president himself and 2 by the coordinating economic minister and also the coordinating minister, Wale Edun. So I think we've never had a shortage of putting up committees together and setting up teams. I mean, if you look at the Orosaye report, it has been set up during the administration of Goodluck Jonathan.
Yeah.
Now it's been implemented. So I think we've never had a shortage of putting heads together to achieve something. I think what materializes after that is what is really paramount. Looking at the diverse experiences that we're bringing together to make sure that we drive our economic forward, we call ourselves as the giant of Africa. We have the largest population in Africa, over 200 million people, though we're still waiting for census to be conducted. But over 200 million people, we should be able to account for that, and it should reflect in our economic growth as a country. Kudos to what they're doing at the CBN. We've seen the Naira rebounds over 1,200 Naira, 200 plus over the last few days. We are seeing things happen, but Nigerians will say they want it to happen faster so that we can have this pain go away very easily and quickly than we would. Some people are projecting that it would take months before it materializes.
Even though there's a fake news going on right now that the dollar is selling for 1,000 naira in Abuja.
Exactly, and it has been debunked already.
Yeah, it has been debunked. There's the fake news just all over the socials. I wanted to go out there to buy dollar, you know.
I think you two have said it all. At the end of the day, all we want is just results, because I mean, every day we have committees and then we do not get results. What we want right now is results. So beautiful that we have all of these people coming together with their different experiences. But what can we say happens after the committees are being formed? What do we say 6 months from now? What do we see at the end of the year? What do we say next year? That is what we want. And so seeing the presidents doing this, heading the committee, I like to think that he's coming from the place of, I know my people, I'm hearing my people, I know where it's biting. You know what they say about the person who wears the shoe knows where it pinches. I think that's where he's wearing the shoe. He's sitting as the chief executive and then he knows what is happening. So that's why I think that's why I think he's sitting there. But at the end of the day, we just want results, positive results. Because otherwise, Nigerians will keep crying.
And as much as the president hears us more, I think that what Nigerians are clamoring for right now again is that let salaries be slashed, especially for political holders.
Exactly.
Let them pay the price and sacrifice also that Nigerians are currently paying. If Nigerians are willing to pay the sacrifice for the economy to be better, the political holders also should show examples by also sacrificing by paying salaries or slashing their salaries by 2. I know this conversation is one conversation that is going to cause a heated argument because no politician wants to at this point slash his salary. She not is laughing.
I was going to say they should practice the minimum wage.
Perhaps that's something that we might clamor at senators to implement, but they are also getting theirs. So how do you want them to make laws that will not be favorable to them? But I think the conversation has been wonderful so far. President Buhari has always been in my mind. I'm still trying to fit into it. Apology to our president. President Bola Tinubu has been somebody touted for a firm decision making. These are people that have been put together to achieve a purpose, to achieve a goal. And if this is not achieved in the next 2-3 months, 6 months perhaps, let them be fired. We're not waiting for somebody to sit at a particular seat for 2 years or 3 years before we then decide to reevaluate. I think monitoring and reevaluation should be a continuum. It should happen as we go through the policy or different thing that they want to implement. You shouldn't wait until it ends. You can't be watching your toy going into the river or the stream and you think it's going to end there. It's going to keep going forward. You can't see something going bad and we think it's going to correct itself. So in as much as they have been put into this position, we want results, and if there are no results, action must be taken to make sure that people are changed or somebody else, a new committee perhaps we bring that on board. But I think that's where we draw the curtain
Yeah,
today. The
but
conversation has been so wonderful. Condolences and our hearts are still going to the families of the slain military men, and we hope that they get the needed support that they deserve. Thank you so much for being on the program today, Chinatu
Thank
and
you,
Godwin.
Wale.
Well, it's always a pleasure doing this with you.
Thank you, Godwin. And it's always a pleasure to do this with you as well. Thank you for joining us as we looked through the select headlines from our national dailies today. My name is Adewale Olashekwan. Until we come your way tomorrow, please do well to follow us on all our social media platforms where you can join the conversation. Bye for now.